It's me, Skin Glow and Afro, and I am back to do another Saturday mukbang plus topic chat. So today I am eating a tuna pasta salad which I got from Asda. Cost £1.50, so not too expensive. And I also have 2 slices of hard-boiled bread, which I absolutely adore. I've been trying to cut down on my carbs, but listen, when it comes to me and hard-boiled bread, please. So I'm just going to try the bit of salad cream into this tuna salad, even though it's got cheese in there, but still. See? Whoa. Before I forget, I also have a chocolate eclair. Oops. Yep, I also have a chocolate eclair here. Oh. So, the topic of discussion this week is, are Caribbean women marriage material? Now, there was a topic going around on the timeline yesterday, you know, on Twitter, my favourite thing, when basically people were saying that Caribbean women were sharing their experiences of being approached by some African men, not to be in a relationship, but in order for them to have sex. And I was like, pardon? The truth of the matter is, I have actually experienced the same thing. We get, it's mainly a thing I've noticed about British African men. I don't know what it is with them, like these British born African men, but they seem to have some skewed perceptions of Caribbean women, that we are hypersexualized basically, and they seem to think that that is all we are good for, just having sex basically. Oh, it tastes so delicious. So as I was saying, Caribbean women are typically hypersexualized. I do believe it comes in part because how we dress when we go to carnival, you know, we dress very flamboyant, it's colourful, our bodies are on show. However, just because we do that does not give you the right to come up to us and say and only want to be with us for sex, or you want us to be in a relationship with you, but we're not seen as marriage material. You don't realise how deeply offensive that is. But however, that is a stereotype that I have seen some African people say about Caribbean women. It's really sad to see that even now in big 2019, these stereotypes that these African people are learning from their family members are actually still permeating into the youth of today. They're still having these same stereotypes, and these are people who are in their 20s. I mean, think about, I'm in my 30s and I'm coming across these same men. So you would think the newer generation would stop doing that. Unfortunately, they're not. But I'm not going to say it's all African people's fault. I do believe that we need to be more vocal. We need to be more vocal and open and honest and say, you know what, I don't find this cool. I find it deeply offensive. Can you stop saying that? But sometimes we do this and we get ignored, and I'm like, why are you ignoring us, please? Why? And another thing that I found rather irritating is some women and some men were saying, well, my family members are married to a Caribbean person, so what really is the truth? Well, at the end of the day, your individual family is not a reflection on the whole of the African people are doing that, and it's certainly not a reflection on the whole of the Caribbean people, especially the Caribbean women who are having these experiences. So at the end of the day, your truth is not our truth. Our truth is we're basically saying over and over again that there is a deep issue and you don't seem to be paying attention. And when you don't pay attention, you make yourself look like a jankro.
So yeah, I heard about this thing about Jamaican girls, yeah, I heard that you lot don't suck dick.
First of all, pardon? My name is Keisha, how are you? But that's it, you see, Like, you see when you have too many stereotypes running around in your head, and then you let those stereotypes out of your head, you see how dumb you look. Like, at the end of the day, people always gonna have stereotypes, but at the same time, it's up to you to diffuse these stereotypes and not let them go any further. However, some of you don't seem to be able to do that. A basic thing. I mean, honestly, why never would you say something like that to somebody? Got my peppermint tea here, because you know I love my peppermint tea. But honestly, I'm fed up. I'm fed up of the stereotypes. I'm fed up of the nonsense. It's complete bullshit. Let's keep it real. It's nonsense. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand people who are so gung-ho on passing around these bloody stereotypes about West Indian women. We are over-sexualized and hypersexualized every single day of our life. It doesn't matter. We could be dressed up in friggin' church clothes, and yet you will still have ignoramus friggin' people say the most dumb nonsense. Get back to the marriage material topic, which I started with. They don't seem to realise that within Caribbean families, they are deeply Christian. So they are. Caribbean people, they get married a hell of a lot. Okay? They are getting married a hell of a lot. So I don't understand why people keep coming around with these bloody stereotypes on the internet saying, oh, do Caribbean people even get married? Because I've never heard about them getting, I don't ever heard about them getting married. As far as I'm concerned, all they do is just breed up the place. Like, and the Caribbean women, all they're good for is opening their legs. Like, honestly, these are the kind of stereotypes I'm hearing all the time. And y'all don't see a problem with that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that stereotypes aren't said about African people from Caribbean people. I'm not saying that. However, lately, since Notting Hill Carnival last week, there has been so many stereotypes and insults being thrown at the Caribbean community. It's come to a point where it's kind of like, you need to calm it down a bit, because like, this is why xenophobia keeps going around. It's because you keep saying bullshit like that. Like, let it go, thank you. Like, there's no excuse. Like, think about it, we're in the age of the internet, yet you're still sitting there saying about Caribbean women don't get married. But maybe it's just me. Yeah. Maybe it's just me. But this is exactly why I prefer my Caribbean men. Because I do believe that sometimes within Caribbean cultures, as different as they can be, you still have more in common than someone who comes from an African background. Now, one thing that irritates me is people who do this we are all African business. We all have African roots. Yes, we are all descended from the soils of Africa. But at the same time, you must understand, because due to slavery and colonialism, the culture has changed. And so even though we have clung on to some aspects of our African background, we've not been able to hold on to everything. So the culture is completely different. So when you sit there and say that we are all African, you are basically saying that Caribbean people don't have a culture at all. You're completely erasing what they have done. You can't sit there and say Caribbean people don't have a culture, and yet you can go to freaking Japan and see how, go to Japan or any of these Asian countries, and you can see how they're emulating dancehall. And this is what I'm saying about the culture. Plus soca music is not as mainstream as dancehall music is. However, you can go to a load of European countries and hear soca music being played. There is several carnivals across the world where you will hear soca music being played. So this is what I'm saying to you. Sit there and try and whitewash the Caribbean culture by saying we are all African. Like, you know what I mean by whitewash. I don't mean it like that. But to basically sit there and say that we're all African, you are denying our heritage, thank you. There was one idiot girl on the timeline yesterday. She gave me a joke because she basically said, if there's an African guy that I have the look of, that I like the look of, and he's with a Caribbean girl, I will keep him close because I know that he will break up with her in 2 to 3 months. The funniest thing about that is, baby girl, if he wanted you, he would have picked you over the Caribbean girl. Even if he only stays with her for 2 to 3 months, that could be for a number of reasons, not because he wants you. How do you not feel embarrassed that this guy does not want to pick you, but you want to keep him close because you know he's going to break up with his Caribbean woman in a 2 to 3 months? You not have shame? Shame you not have. Listen, yeah, if I ever stoop to those kind of levels, I just hope that my friends will like batter me over my head, because that is too embarrassing for words. Waiting around for a man to break up with his girlfriend, and you think you got a chance? If he wanted you, he would have picked you over that girl, but he didn't. But you see, like, some women act like little girls when it comes to a man they want. They will wait around thinking that this man wants you. Trust me, he don't. You could offer the pom-pom with a bow around it and he still won't want you. So, you know. Never, and I mean never, had to fall over a man. Don't do it. Don't embarrass yourself. Find a man who wants you. You understand? But don't be trying to be waiting. Don't be trying to wait in the background for this man to leave his girl. And the only reason you're doing it is because you don't like Caribbean women. Your xenophobia showed love, and it was frankly disgusting. I mean, imagine the stupidity. All over a man. Look how many men there is in the world. Go find a single one. But at the end of the day, to round this video up, at the end of the day, like I said, everybody has stereotypes. It's just when your stereotypes start to impact upon real life people and they get offended, that is when you need to start clocking yourself and checking yourself and saying, is what I'm saying actually worthwhile? Is what I'm saying actually offensive? If you can say yes to the latter, then maybe you need to rethink your stereotype. Just saying. Caribbean women are indeed marriage material, and at the same time we are hypersexualized, and there's no point denying it. If you haven't come across this stereotype, then fair enough. However, shut the fuck up when we're speaking, because some of you seem to have this nasty little habit of dismissing people. Like, keep quiet. Keep it quiet. Honestly. If you don't experience it, fine. Just say I haven't experienced it and move on. But then trying to say, oh, my family member and such, like, I really don't give a shit about your family member, if I'm quite honest. Because when loads of people are saying that's not their experience, what does your family member matter to me? Please, please, please. Bye bye. Let go of the xenophobia. Let go of the negative commentary. Let it all go, because at the end of the day, we're learning this shit from our parents. We're learning this shit from our grandparents. And it's up to us, the younger ones, to be doing better. And we're not doing any better. We're doing the exact same things that they did. Like, how can we say, oh, the youth is the future? And yet when you have children, you're going to be teaching them the exact same shit. Do you not see a problem with that? So do the work now before you have children, and then these issues will not crop up in the future. And if you see your parents saying this negative shit anyway about Caribbean people, and you claim to be friends with us, then check them in it. Check them. Alright? Be gone. Bye.